Hello. So we have just had about 3 days of rain and everything is looking so beautiful and green. I'm gonna go and walk around the garden with my little baby and show you all the growth. And we just moved some baby chicks outside, so I'm gonna show you what their setup looks like. This here is a couple of our chickens. They free roam and they have a coop over on the side of the house that's nice and protected. We live out in the forest, so we do get raccoons that like to eat chickens. We recently hatched some babies, about 16. One of them passed on like the first day, and the rest are all still doing amazing. And we've had them in the garage under a heat lamp until today. Proud dad. They have been moved outside into this contraption. So it's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but it will be perfect to transition them. They got big enough to outgrow their little brooder. And we've used this for a couple of clutches of chickens now just to get them through the teenage phases. We did add some hardware cloth to the bottom this morning because, like I mentioned, we have raccoons and that's really our biggest predator. And that's how they get in. They climb under. Well, they scratch away a little bit. They put their paw under, and then another one goes to the other side and puts their paw under, and like the chickens like run back and forth, and then they'll just like grab their legs. Anyways, so this will prevent that. I stapled it on the top there, and I'm just collecting rocks that I'm finding in the woods and putting them on the bottom there just for extra security, but this will be good. I have an extra piece of tin on the top there, and at night I'm going to pull that over just to double secure the top. I put some hardware cloth there, but just to make sure that the fence gate thing is good. This has all been used from recycled materials, just like we do with about everything. This here is a mama and a mama. So we've got 15 babies in here. Let's see. We can. Hello. We got 2 white ones. I think about 4 reddish colored ones. And most of them are black, hiding out in the back corners. They looked so big in their brooder, and now they look tiny in here. It's been very cute seeing them explore and flap their wings and just try grass for the first time. They've only been in here for about an hour, but they already seem a little bit more confident. All right, standing up. Weep. But when they get bigger, they'll join the rest of the flock and join the free range team. I think we've currently got, we got 9 hens and we have 2 roosters. This is Macho. He's the dominant rooster. And then we have another one called Fiance. Oh, he's actually just right there. Hello. And he's a baby of Macho. And he's such a pretty boy. We kept him just to see how it would go, and they've found peace. I mean, he will definitely get chased if he tries to mate with the girls, but it's all pretty friendly for the most part, so we still have him around. I know for sure that if any of these, and there for sure will be, are roosters, that we will need to rehome them. I mean, 2 is already a lot. I mean, we'll have more girls to balance it out with, but yeah, usually just having one rooster is the way to go in my experience. Okay, so it has been a rainy week, and I am so grateful, one, to not have had to water the garden, but also just to give the garden some much needed thirst quenching. I walked around this morning just to look at everything, and I feel like we've definitely had some growth. So let's just walk around and take a look. Starting on the right, this here is a flower border, and this is just a hollyhock container, but I have marigolds growing in here, and I'm just gonna let it happen. The dill that I sprinkled has really come up. This girl right here, and I'm really positive these are bachelor buttons, has come up so tall. This one's looking really good. No buds yet, but I feel like soon, really soon. This chamomile does have a little bud at the top there. I hope she spreads out more. I'm not sure. You know, I really don't have much luck growing chamomile because I tend to put them maybe in places that they're not very happy. So this one's doing really well, but I'm not sure if just like one singular plant will bush out or just like do what it's doing right here, like stem in one direction. These are calendula clumps. Those are snapdragons. Everyone's doing good and growing well. These hollyhocks really seem to be very happy here. That calendula is looking super healthy. This catnip is looking awesome. I'm really just excited for it to have some flowers. I don't recall what they looked like anymore, but we have so much dried catnip from the years before. I have one cat that roams outside and one that stays inside all the time. And she doesn't really even seem interested in the fresh bush. So I don't know. And I've got a little patch of stuff there that I just put down, so it's looking good. And the yarrow. Pretty sure the yarrow is budding up. Right? Look at that. Eee! Oh, look at her. Can you see the little caterpillar? You could be there, that's okay. Yay! Oh, I'm so excited. I don't even remember what color this is. Over the winter, I got like a huge obsession with yarrow just because I'm realizing that, you know, they're so hardy in this area, and I really would love this garden to be more of a perennial garden, especially along the borders, because it's just such a big space and it's, you know, difficult to put annuals everywhere, keeping up with that. So yarrow, and it's just so beautiful, would be an amazing thing to have everywhere. So I did start a bunch of it, but as you can see over here, first year versus second year yarrow, clearly this one's doing very well. So I'm very excited. I don't even really remember putting this in the ground last year. It's kind of a random planting. This year it's been way more intentional, and I have this one here, but I also have a ton over on the right. I winter sow them in these like milk jugs, and I just plop them in the ground in the jug space instead of trying to thin them out, because I'm okay with that. It's fine, and I feel like I don't risk hurting the babies. They're so fragile. But there's a lot in there in that clump. And then I've got some more hollyhocks here. The daylilies are still doing their thing. I noticed this morning that the raccoon did come and scratch around in the tires, but the raccoon really only scratched around in the tires, the back ones, and a little bit in the potato bed again. Covered up everything, and I'm hoping it's okay. I did a hot sauce spray before all the rain, so that was a little bit irrelevant. On the right here, I see some squash. 1, 2, I believe they're butternut squash. 3, and then there's a 4th one at the back right before the mint starts to creep in right there. Weep. I have been working on putting more plants in this area and just like throwing seeds down. I put a bunch of zinnias and cosmos here. And I'm thinking that there's morning glory that's just popping up everywhere, unless there's a lookalike like weed, but it has those like the leaves that open up here. This is that like a morning glory? It feels like a plant of some sort, so I'm leaving it. Got some squash here. And then this dill bush is doing really well. I'm starting to pick from it and put it into salads. A little bit of dills right there too. So same with this area. Just putting cosmos and zinnias, and I think I put a little bit of sunflower seeds here too. I'll be able to work it better when these tulips have officially died back and I've been able to cut them back, because I just want to give them their full opportunity to die back so that they come back beautifully next year. Because oh my gosh, having tulips was a dream come true so early in the season. My little sunflower that popped up by itself. Oh, and I noticed, I'm just gonna step over this. Beep, beep, beep. Look at this guy. A tomato. Isn't that awesome? That is so cool. That is so fun. These are like the perks of gardening for more than 1 year. And this big garden has been around now for its 3rd round, but this bed's only been around now. This is its 2nd year. So the first year we gardened, we really just had a couple of the raised beds. All right, yesterday my little sister gave me a bit of her lavender plant, and I'm so grateful. Always wanted to have lavender, and the one I had last year I bought as like a big plant. I just don't think I buried it deep enough. The soil here is really rocky and it didn't do well. This a nice bush. I mean, come on. Coloring really is magnificent too. Look at that. Sometimes I feel like I don't appreciate green enough. I just like am thirsty for blooms, but that's so pretty. And it does smell fresh, really fresh. So I've made bouquets of like the purple flowers that come out of this before, and I tend to like throw my dead stems out in the front of the house for a little bit before I take them for the compost. And I just counted like 12 little anise plants right in my front border. I can show that to you. Rosemary. Oh, this one's looking a lot bigger. I planted her as a teeny tiny little like seed essentially. Those look good. I have some borage here that my mom brought over that I need to plant out. This bed is not doing good. It's like the one bed that's doing poorly, and I spent so much time building up the soil. But I think because it still has so much of the like decomposing material on the bottom, that there is more roly-polies in here because of it. And I think next year, after a lot of that trees and branches and leaves have decomposed, the roly-polies might move on. But right now, every time I put a plant in here, the roly-polies just eat it. So I'm gonna leave the eggplant, but I might move them actually now that I'm saying that out loud, because it just feels like a waste knowing that I can see their leaves getting munched on. All right. To my left. Oh man, those bachelor buttons look really good. I planted a huge clump right there, and then the raccoon had like completely scratched them to bits, and I'd kind of half like I'd kind of casually just like put some more soil over it, being like, well, I hope they come back. And they've really come back. I see at least 5. Chamomile and dill looks pretty good. Zinnias look really happy. And these are coxcomb or celosia, and they look really good too. I see some volunteers here. I think that's a morning glory. So, and there too. I hope that's okay and doesn't like kill the plant by being too viney. My one corn in this massive bed, I put sunflowers in there and I see the seeds coming up. It's also a lizard and his spouse that live in this bed. He's very cute. There's a sunflower. Boop. I think that's a morning glory. That's sunflower, sunflower, morning glory. Interesting. And then I got one of those like bags of canna bulbs at Walmart in their like super duper clearance section. And when you first take those bulbs out, they just like look a little sad, and like they look like they've been through some stuff. So I just went ahead and put them in there and was like hoping for the best, but they're greening up on me. So I think they're gonna be just fine. Every bulb I look at now has green coming into it. So I'm really excited. My mom always grew cannas when I was a kid, and I always thought they were so lame. But I love them now. Sort of, I think. We'll see. I've actually never grown them before. I put peony bulbs or roots or whatever they're called in here. I'm not seeing those yet. So maybe next year, but I do see my flowers are doing okay. That's Gomphrena. My lilac bush is slowly but surely doing its thing. I thought all of these nubbins would do something too, but it seems to be coming from the bottom. So that looks good. And then over here I have the apple crate garden. Chamomile on the bottom with some flowers. The oregano and the lemon verbena are looking good. I think they're kind of root bound from the pots of what I bought them in, because I got them from a local nursery. And I need to go and just like ruffle them up because they still seem really, really tight. Wow. I mean, come on. I'm so proud. I didn't realize how hardy and like determined Anise was to spread its seed. But I've shared little plants now with like every family member, just from where the seed has like flown over. And this one has flown over too and just done amazing. And I will leave her there. The nasturtium looks like little beautiful lily pads. Chamomile's doing good. I threw some basil seeds in there, and I am starting to see little green leafies. I see 1, maybe 2. Yeah, they're still very, very small. The Swiss chard, oh yeah, look at that. Totally ready to start being eaten off of. And that nasturtium looks so good. I love how big the leaves got. Nice, the sugar snap peas climbing up. I thought I put cucumber over there, but it seems to be over there. So I'm gonna give that a chance to go a little bit bigger, and then I'll move it to the back so we can trellis up. I threw in like little nasturtium seeds everywhere, so that's that. So see, that's that. Those 2 are little basils I started from seed. There's a sugar snap pea making its way up. I bought a little basil plant too from the farmer's market. And these ground cherries are still minuscule. Okay, wowee, look at this sage. I actually had no idea that when sage makes it to year 2, that it flowers this beautiful purple flower. And I've actually just been cutting from it and making bouquets because it's the only thing that's flowering, and I just love having green in a vase in the home. So I've been taking those plus the weeds over there that have yellow flowers, and putting them in vases in the house, and it's just bringing me so much joy. And the nasturtiums are coming up just fine. I did put cucumbers in the back there, and I'm not seeing them come up quite yet, but the sugar snap pea looks good. My mom brought me some more mature ground cherries, and unfortunately the roly-polies are having a bit of a snack at it. So I don't know. Last year I put down all this like sticky pads and like traps to try and kill them. It ended up just being a huge mess, and it did nothing helpful besides create an extra chore for me. So I'm gonna stop fighting it as much, and maybe I lose a couple plants, but I have so much growing, and I just am committed to continue to reseed what gets eaten by the roly-polies. Look at my grapes. Looking beautiful. There are little mini grape trussels, I guess. Where are they? Let's see, let's go inside. Let's see if we can find one. So fun to look at. Hey girl, look at her. It's so cool. Beautiful forest. Looks like the 2 blackberry bushes in the back are doing it, but my bloob and my rasp are not. That's my trap for the raccoon, but we don't bait it because we don't really want to, I don't know, we don't know what to do with the raccoon once we catch it. I don't have a truck, so I can't like throw it in the back of the pickup and drive it away, and I don't want to put it in my little Nissan Versa and have it get, you know, stinked up, or maybe it pees or it's covered in ticks or whatever. And we don't really have a good way of killing it. Yes, we live in like between cities, and so I'm not sure which animal services to call either. So just kind of a ongoing thing. I don't know. The onions look really, really good. I've been snipping and eating them in the salads. These are some volunteer carrots that are doing good. The sugar snap. And I threw some more lettuces down here. Same here, just waiting on some stuff to come up. In the meantime, though, I am so grateful for greens. Cuke. Nasturtium. The bok choy bolted, but I will continue to eat them in salads. Just beautiful and delicious nonetheless. And look, the arugula. How gorgeous. Beautiful. Beautiful. Love the multicolored lettuces, cucumbers right there. Spinaches are coming up, and these have really started to come up. Sorrel tastes like lemon, so good. Those are climbing on up too. These are radishes. These are the white ones, icicles or something like that. Taking a minute. Some more nasturtium back there. Whew. These are radishes, are looking great. These are starting to climb. They're starting to climb. Let's see. Look at that. Yay! Radishes. Sugar snap peas. These look a little sadder. I don't know what happened here compared to here, but that's okay. Same here. I mean, I planted out a ton, and there seems to be one. That nasturtium looks good. That's arugula. I threw some other stuff down here, so give her some time to come up. Our carrot rows are really looking good. We can definitely work on thinning them out, especially that back clump there. Oh, but it looks so good. These are little garlics. There's some more onions back there. I just have flower seeds thrown in that bed, but it's like a bait for the raccoon because it's like thick and she likes to roll around in it, so I don't really plant anything too serious. All right. And then over here, if you want to know what lies underneath, it is a carpet, which I realize is not super great, but it was going to be trash, and I thought, oh, this will help with keeping some of the tree trunks down. There's like a big tree trunk here and a big tree trunk there that just keep growing back, and there's some tree trunks there too. So this was a forested bit that we got cleared to have a garden, but I didn't remove all the stumps, and so I just put the carpet over it. Went ahead and just threw like 2 inches of horse manure on top with some wood shavings, and threw some seeds on top. I'm not going to eat from this just because it is the carpet on the bottom, but it'll be beautiful to let everything go to seed. So I don't actually remember doing this, but there's a bunch of mustard greens coming up over there, and I'm going to let them bolt. And I think that those are dill, but I'm not eating that dill. I'm just going to let that bolt. And then there's a bunch of marigolds and cosmos in the middle there, and coxcomb. So I just want it to be a patch of flowers. These tires have daylilies in them and sunflowers. And these are my rows of tomato. And they're doing pretty good. I went out here this morning and tried to do some weeding, even though there's cloth. I mean, weeds are resilient. So yeah, the tomatoes are looking pretty good. I've noticed that some dill seed has made its way out here too. Teet teet. That one. Whoop. Whoop. Yeah, they look good. We had one frost and I covered all the tomatoes and peppers with pots. I need to go through and already start taking some stuff off, pruning them. But they look happy. Some of them have a little bit of like insect damage, it seems. But just keep an eye on that. There's one lone wolf back here. My second year hollyhock is looking amazing. Then the 2 random calendulas next to it, also looking good. And then over here, this is another flower row. Everything looks really good. All of these different green patches are different types of flowers. Yarrow, bachelor's button, snapdragons. I think that's a nice, no idea, etc. Checking to see if there's maybe any buds yet. But I don't see any quite yet. It's milkweed. And that is statice. Never grown that before. Not quite yet, but soon. And then we've got peppers on the left of the tomatoes here. So those are 2 big tomatoes that I got at the farmer's market. And they look good. The peppers look good too. Yep. They do. That one even has some flower bulbs or buds. And then over here in these 2 rows, I put a bunch of green bean seeds. And I did notice that we have a green bean coming up. So that is awesome. I've also noticed that this dark purple plant right here, that is self-seeding amaranth. And amaranth can be very invasive. My older sister grew it. She has a very smaller, I wouldn't call it very small, garden. But it's like in her front yard, and she lives in a suburb. So she's taken over the lawn and put beds in. And she put amaranth out last year. And she has amaranth everywhere in all of her beds. And she's had to like take them all out and move them to a different spot. I'm letting it happen because this is a big area. But I am noticing them here, and I did not grow amaranth. So she must have given me a bouquet and I dried it or something, and scattered some seeds out. So, yep. And there's dill everywhere too. Dill and amaranth. And green beans. But no, I am only just seeing that one green bean. I think his friends must follow soon. The chamomile and the flowers back here all look good. That's like super growth, but all looking happy. The wild blackberry is starting to flower. Wowee! I'm looking forward to that. We've got tons of blackberry in the woods. And usually the animals just enjoy it. But maybe this year I'll try to spend a day and really look for them and collect them that way, because my blackberry plant just is not looking good. And the peach tree and the plum tree are still standing strong. And that's just about everything. There in the hoop house, we've got our morning glory and our squashes and our climbing pole beans coming up and looking good. I did see a little bit of bug damage, but I'm hoping that resolves itself. These are beautiful yellow flowers. Potato bags look good. I put zinnias in the tires. All these plants look pretty happy. I find that the stuff in the tower grows slower, even though I'm putting compost there in the middle. So I don't know. But yeah, the sunflowers look really good. I'm really excited to see the mix of like types of sunflowers, because there's all different kinds in here. Hey, and there are the chicks. And I threw on a bunch of the chicks bedding in the compost this morning. So yeah, really it's just a waiting game at this point for all the flowers to start coming up, and things are definitely getting established and looking good. So with minimal raccoon interference, it'll be a good gardening year. Talk to you guys later.